We're finally going to be finishing GoldenEye 007 this episode by clearing out the rest of 00 Agent difficulty. Starting with the one that I believe gave most people nightmares, Facility. Remember, while the objectives are the same, the enemies are much smarter and deal more damage, and I have to finish the entire level in less than 2 minutes 5 seconds. It took so long that I actually had to delete 4 straight hours of me failing this level for space reasons. I start by strafing right through the bathroom and down the stairs, shooting at the security door to alert the guards inside so they come out while running for the guard that drops a clearance keycard. If I get unlucky and constantly knocked away from the door by enemy fire, I abort. After a while I drop the alerting strategy and just run in there, activate the security door and run right out. In this hallway I use one of my remote mines to take out these guards quickly. Rather than activating the next security door properly, I shoot it to lure the enemy into opening it and plough through. I end up dying while looking for Dr. Doak. Dr. Doak is the biggest problem with this level. His location is randomised, which means he could be in one of the side rooms of that hallway I use a mine in. If he's in there, you aren't getting that cheat, there's just no time to go in those rooms. So most of the time I do a quick run through this room and abort if Bond doesn't start talking. And don't forget about the scientists getting in your way and making you fail Objective E. And of course you don't have time to stop and kill every enemy, so most of the time I just get picked off from behind by those I have to ignore. It gets to the point that when Dr. Doak doesn't show up, I end up executing scientists. It's not until 34 minutes into this recording that I run into Dr. Doak. I run through the door to the bottling room and when pausing to select the decoder, I accidentally abort, with 40 seconds left to get the cheat. I was so used to only pausing for aborting after these now 4.5 hours straight playing that muscle memory took over and ruined it. But it's only 3 minutes later that I'm lucky enough to meet him again and use the decoder right. I plant my mines, blow up the tanks, but I didn't space them out enough and had to spend a couple seconds blowing up the last 2. But after 4.5 hours, I finally clear the level with the final time of It's not for another 23 minutes I meet Dr. Doak again, but this time I get killed as the door is being decoded. Do you think the real David Doak this guy was named after get shit for his blocky counterpart's actions? 13 minutes after that I make it to the bottling room but get killed before I can blow up the tanks because Trevelyan was spending too long standing in range of the explosion. 7 minutes later he does it again and gets blown up. But after a total of approximately 5.5 hours I finally get a time of 2 minutes unlocking the invincibility cheat. Now that's a worthy reward for my efforts. Remember, 5.5 hours with each level attempt being anywhere from 20 seconds to 2 minutes long. Did Runway and Surface 1 last time, so it's on to Bunker 1. 2 more objectives, get personnel to activate computer and download data from computer. First thing I gotta pick up this computer room keycard. In said computer room I die. There's also a cheat for beating this in under 4 minutes. Let's skip to much later when I actually accomplish something. See Boris there? We actually need him this time. Once I photograph the screen and copied the GoldenEye key, I hold him at gunpoint and demand he take me to the mainframe terminal. He walks very slow, which drives me insane considering that cheat I need to unlock. I have him disable the security on the mainframe, which accidentally sets off the alarm, so I quickly use the data thief I've always had in this level to download the data and run for the exit. Sadly I get caught on these men and get killed just before the last set of stairs. It only takes me another 10 minutes to get it though. I beat the time by 3 seconds and unlock the double rocket launcher cheat. Now for one of the secret agent levels I had lots of footage of, Silo. My new objectives are to plant bombs in the fuel rooms, obtain telemetric data, and retrieve satellite circuitry. Each fuel room as I make my way through the level has at least one of these circuit boards on a table somewhere. I know I'm on a timer here, but I'm not going for a cheat so I can take things a little slowly. 9 minutes is plenty of time if you know what you're doing anyway. Of course I don't do it on my first try. Gotta actually remember to plant those plastic explosives too. It takes me nearly half an hour to make it to the third fuel room, which is where the final circuit board is, completing Objective D. In the fourth and final room I plant the last explosive and complete Objective A. But for whatever reason I misremembered and thought the one guard here dropped the telemetric data DAT, so I can't beat the level. It's actually dropped by a scientist in the third fuel room, as I find out 20 minutes later. With everything accomplished it's time to finish the level. But no, I die so close to the end. 44 minutes later and with a total of 1 hour 36 spent in this level, I finally beat it. Now for Frigate, where the 2 new objectives since Agent are to disarm the bridge bomb and the engine room bomb. Of course I'm still incapable of saving this hostage. In fact I fail for letting too many hostages die on the first attempt. Second try I try the other side of the bridge but hesitate too long and the hostage still dies. Along with too many once again. Next time I finally manage to free that hostage, but this time I'm the one that dies. Let's just skip to my successful attempt. Here I figured out a safe enough route to free the hostages without getting myself killed, plant that tracking bug on the helicopter, stealth through the engine room and use the bomb diffuser here to complete Objective C. Remember that there's a bomb on the bridge and defuse that, and I'm free to finish the level. It only took 22 minutes altogether. Good thing there's no cheat to unlock because I was so cautious I took 8.5 minutes. Already did Surface 2 last time, so it's time for Bunker 2. Here I have a lot more stuff to do. Compare staff and casualty lists, recover the CCTV tape, disable all the security cameras and recover the GoldenEye operations manual. This one was hellish back in the secret agent playthrough I lost. Of course, since I'm under no time limit I can leave Natalia and come back for her later. And I get holed up in this room near the jail with a safe in it, just standing by and waiting for every enemy to approach first so I can kill them. Gotta shut the door so to delay their AI a bit more too. One of the guards here also dropped a keycard. I also use those quiet moments between any attacks to zip outside and pick up the dropped ammo, but they slowly wear down my health and I die. When it seems like I've cleared most of them out, I head upstairs and hole myself up in this room instead. One of the documents I'm looking for is in this room too. However, while looking for a camera in the section with the drones, I missed one and it killed me. Now this goes on for about an hour altogether. For my successful try, I once again hole up in the room with the safe for a few minutes. Once the guards stop turning up, I antagonise another set of them and run back to the room and wait until they're all cleared out. Of course, I'm making sure to destroy any cameras I pass by. I also take advantage of being able to shoot through the small windows on the doors. Pick up the videotape to complete Objective B, set off the rest of the guards on the bottom floor and hide away in the safe room again. With them gone, I explore this room for the clipboard, which combined with the document accomplished Objective A. I set off the guards in the last room and once again escaped to the room with the safe. But they didn't chase me, so I just went back and killed them there. The last two guards on this site didn't hear, so I had an easy time with them. I also complete Objective C when I destroy the last camera. I then pick up the safe key in the computer room and open the safe for the red dossier, getting Objective D done. And I just open Natalia's cell and escape. Yep, 24 minutes, 20 seconds. Now for statue. Once again, no new objectives. Thing is, there's nothing left to say about this level. Objectives are the same between all three difficulties and I tended to die at the same place as I did on Secret Agent. So let's just say it took me about half an hour and continue to Archives, which also has the same objectives as on Secret Agent. I don't even make out of the interrogation room on the first try. I also learned that to get a cheat I have to beat this level in under 1 minute 20 seconds. Despite how insane that sounds, it doesn't take anywhere near as long as a facility cheat. Since nothing's changed and I mostly die in the interrogation room with the rest of the level being much easier, it doesn't take me long until I beat the level, but I still need to shave 37 seconds off my time. The main strategy for this one is just memorising the layout of this maze-like level. Hope you don't get caught in any scenery for even a second. When you open the door for Natalia, just turn and run right away. And don't forget you'll lose some time to Mishkin flapping his gums. This particular attempt to lure an enemy follows me and blows up all the boxes in the room Mishkin is in, killing Natalia. 20 minutes more and I beat the level again, but I'm still just 3 seconds out. 8 more minutes trying and I shave 1 more second from that time. 9 more minutes later and I don't know what happened. Everything just lined up so perfectly that I beat the level in exactly 1 minute 20 seconds and unlocked the invisibility cheat. Streets, like the last 2 levels, has no change in objective. It also has no cheat to unlock. I pretty much die in the same place as I did on Secret Agent and beat the level in 28 minutes of trying. Now it's time for Depot, which adds destroying the illegal arms cache to the objectives. This does mean countless deaths in here thanks to the drones once again. It takes me over 20 minutes to finally make it to that cache. Best remember to pick up all those weapons first or you'll destroy them too. Thankfully there's some proximity mines in this room to use, or I could just shoot one of the crates and set off a chain reaction of explosions to accomplish Objective A. I don't make it very far from there before being killed though. In the end, it's an hour and 20 minutes before all this level's out of the way. Now for Train, the other worst part of the game. This adds crack Boris's password to the objective list. This one isn't a nightmare, the beefed up enemies just chew through my health most of the time, and I have to beat the level under 525 for a cheat so I can't take my time either. Of course, surprise deaths in the green carriages return and they're even more infuriating. So cracking Boris's password is done in the final carriage after killing Urumov and freeing Natalia, but how long is it until the first time I even make it there? Just over an hour. Just to make it there. However, I made a mistake. I only shot Urumov. Doesn't matter though because I get killed while lasering away the floor. Nearly 25 minutes later I get there again and kill Natalia while aiming for Xenia in the back. 10 more minutes later I kill Urumov but still don't hit Xenia. You see, hitting Xenia will delay the timer on the train self-destruct. It's required here too, because without that extra time, Natalia can't crack Boris's password and she ends up with like 2 seconds to get out of the train. Of course, she doesn't make it. Half an hour later, I still miss Xenia, so the result is the same. But it's okay because less than 10 minutes later I hit her. This gives us 17 seconds to escape the train by the time she's done. Problem? 6 seconds too slow. So how long do you think it took altogether to finally beat that time? 4.5 hours. An hour less than Facility, but this one made me far more irate. The Silver PP7 cheat isn't worth it. I normally never get mad outside the game when I have trouble. Not since I was about 11 or 12 anyway. But this was the exception. I was in a foul mood on the 29th of March because of this level. For comparison, I'm writing this on the 13th of December, so you can see how behind I am with getting these done. Jungle now, and after that I'm glad to see no new objectives, because that means there's nothing new to talk about aside from the fact that it took me just under 3 hours. Usually I like to cut off episodes at around 7 to 10 hours of gameplay, but I really didn't want to drag this out to 4 episodes. Once again, for these I skim over, just reference my Secret Agent playthroughs because they tended to go very similar, just with the 00 Agent run taking longer. Speaking of, you can say the exact same about Control, but adding that the first room with the drones is an even bigger ball ache with the extra damage. This one takes just under 2 hours, how this one took less time than Jungle, I don't know. Caverns now requires me to contact Jack Wade. You remember that radio I mentioned in the back of that one room I kept destroying? Well, I've got to be careful. I've actually got to make it to that room first though. I've also got to beat the level under 9:30 for a cheat. Even when I make it to the room, I still die. 10 minutes later I get back but end up blowing up the radio again. An hour and a half in, I finally contact Jack and complete the objective, but that fucking drone gets me again. 2.5 hours is what it takes to beat the level, but I still need to lower that time by 64 seconds. It takes another hour and a half for a total of 4 hours to get under the target and unlock the double RCP-90 cheat. Another one I don't have to talk about because there's no cheat and nothing has changed, Cradle. It takes just over an hour. Sorry if anyone wanted an in-depth look at these levels, but there's really nothing left. Know what else has nothing new? Aztec. I'm dying a lot in that first room, it's that hard. The same strategy as last time gets me through to the end with an impressive 2.5 hour total. With everything else beat on 00 Agent, I unlock the game's other secret level, Egyptian. Here I just have to recover the golden gun and defeat Baron Samedi? So this level mixes elements from the man with the golden gun and Live and Let Die, neither of which I've seen. When we start the level we're treated to a glimpse of the golden gun. There's a few enemies dotted around these few similar looking rooms. Back when I first played this game as a 6-year-old, I remember this being the only multiplayer level I'd want to play on. As you might have guessed, there'll be no multiplayer in this video. I only have one controller these days and no one I'd want to force to record live commentary to make it worthwhile. After a bit I run into Baron Samedi and shoot him dead. He then fades away with a laugh. A little bit later I find this staircase leading to the room containing the golden gun. But to get it, you see these tiles? I've got to walk across them in the correct order to lower the glass. I knew about this beforehand and got the correct sequence up, but a couple enemies followed me and shot me onto the wrong tiles, sealing away the gun and activating a pair of drones. Next time I misread the image I was using and set them off again. I made the same mistake on my 3rd try, and my 4th. But on my 5th try I get the pattern down, circle around the case, and get the golden gun, which kills everyone in a single hit. This completes objective A. I then go through a secret door containing a body armor and start annihilating everyone in sight. At this point Baron Samedi's laugh is heard a lot. I run into him again and kill him again. After this the level turns almost pitch black. I then spend so much time exploring that when I find Baron Samedi once more with double Moonraker lasers, I have only 1 block of health left. By getting that killing shot before he can kill me. Bond is shown leaving with Baron Samedi alive and well following behind and giving one last laugh into the camera. Now for Secret Agent, no change in objective. I don't know if it was me improving or what, but I find the difficulty increases for this level to be very minor. Maybe it was made to be easy on purpose as a reward for all the insanely hard shit we had to do to unlock it. One challenge increase is that Baron Samedi can now take 1 golden gunshot and live. But that's it, and thanks to me now having the route memorised, I beat this on my 1st try in less than 3 minutes. Once again, 00 Agent has no new objectives, but it does have a cheat for beating it in under 6 minutes. First time I make it to the last Samedi but get killed. But on my 2nd time I get it done easily, and thanks to still remembering the level layout, I beat it in 2 minutes 40 seconds to unlock the all guns cheat. That's every level beat on all 3 difficulties, but I'm not done just yet. There's still a couple cheats I didn't get on the lower difficulties, and since I'm now accustomed to the highest difficulty, I should get through these no problem. After 17 minutes of trying, I finally get that statue Secret Agent time to 2 seconds under the target for the fast animation cheat. Then, after just 2 attempts, I beat Silo Agent in under 3 minutes for turbo mode. 5 tries on Agent Streets to get the target time exactly for the enemy rockets cheat. 3 tries on Agent Jungle to beat the target by 55 seconds for the double hunting knives cheat. Finally, I have to beat Cradle on Agent in under 2 minutes 15. I beat it on my 2nd try, but I'm off by just 3 seconds. Another 20 minutes later and I finally do it, beating the time by 10 seconds and unlocking the final cheat, the gold PP7. There's an empty spot in the corner of the cheat menu, but that's most likely a leftover from the cut all bonds cheat or the button code only line mode. That's everything beaten and unlocked in this game, but I may as well have fun with these things I drove myself insane unlocking. Let's give myself all guns, invincibility, infinite ammo, DK mode, paintball mode, fast animation and the gold PP7. Beating every level on 00 Agent unlocks 007 mode, which lets me toggle the enemy's health, damage, accuracy and reaction speed. Let's take everything from them despite the fact I'm invincible. So I have a run through the dam with my unlimited paintball bullets destroying super speed and misshapen soldiers. DK mode is the best and every game should have it. It was a very special feeling returning to that fucking tunnel with infinite health and rockets. In Cradle, I remove all of Trevelyan's health before I've even destroyed the control console. I then let him impotently fire at me while I try to decide on the perfect finishing weapon. I choose a taser. And thanks to the fast animation, Bond rockets off into the distance, leaving the rescue helicopter in his dust. And that was GoldenEye 007. It's not one of my favourites or anything, but I can't get behind the idea that it's just unplayable nowadays, as has been going around the last few years. Ignoring those hard difficulties, I enjoyed this game and I think it still holds up well enough.